Hi, everyone. I am Megan Gall from Innovid, SVP of Marketing and Strategy, and I'm here today with Sarah Redding and Raul Tafur from Canvas, Sarah from Meta. And we are here to talk about Meta's opportunity score and how it's helping advertisers better understand where performance improvements exist and what actions can drive stronger outcomes. And from Innovid, working with the enterprise brands and agencies that we do, and fortunate enough to have Raul from Canvas on the phone with us today to represent that view. Identifying the opportunity is only part of the equation. The real challenge is about operationalizing those recommendations quickly, consistently, and at scale across campaigns, creative variations, teams, and workflows. And that's really where Meta and Innovid's partnership becomes incredibly powerful. So we're going to talk today about how advertisers are moving from recommendation to execution faster and what that looks like operationally inside enterprise organizations. So I'm going to kick it off to Sarah joining us from Meta to walk through opportunity score from their perspective. Take it away, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the intro. I will share some slides to tee up the conversation. So, to kick off, the AI powering our ad systems is getting meaningfully smarter, and the results are really showing up in the numbers. We're compounding improvements across four areas that directly drive campaign performance for advertisers. So, first is finding the right ads faster. With the surge of new ad variants coming from Advantage Plus and generative AI creative tools, our retrieval system is really handling that at scale and matching the right ad to the right person. Second, we're predicting what people will do. Our prediction models are processing more data to improve recommendations and ad quality. We're also better learning from behavior over time. Sequence learning helps our system understand the full sequence of actions before and after someone sees an ad. And then lastly is sharing learnings across surfaces. Our cross-surface model connects learnings across campaigns, so optimization in one place improves performance everywhere. And the takeaway here is that AI-driven optimization is becoming foundational to how our ad system works. That being said, as the system gets smarter, advertisers need clearer guidance on how to actually align with it, which brings me to how we're evolving the way that we deliver that guidance. So, sorry, I keep getting this messed up. All right. So, as our AI systems get more sophisticated, the way that we deliver best practices has to evolve with them. Many of you have probably heard of some of our prior best practice frameworks, maybe Performance 5, which focused on automation, signals, measurement, and more. And those strategies still remain the building blocks for performance. But over time, we heard consistent feedback from partners and advertisers that you want more personalized guidance that's easy to implement when you need it, not a static set of principles you have to figure out how to apply. That's why we've shifted from content-based best practices to in-product real-time delivery. Recommendations are increasingly predictive, surfacing what's relevant to a specific advertiser at a specific moment based on their actual campaign setup. Opportunity score is how that shows up. This is a tool that we launched last year that surfaces high-impact actions, simplifies optimization prioritization, and helps advertisers align with performance-driving best practices. Every recommendation is experimentally proven, which I will get into more in a bit. To start off, you can think of opportunity score as two key elements that work together, a score and a set of recommendations. So for the score, on a 0 to 100 point scale, this represents how optimized your campaigns, ad sets, and ads are. It's responsive, updating in near real time as you adopt recommendations or when new ones are identified for a campaign. The score itself doesn't reflect actual or future performance, but adopting more recommendations can help increase performance potential or opportunity, thus opportunity score, over time. Recommendations. We identify and rank recommendations personalized to a business's profile and campaign setup. These consist of experimentally proven best practices as well as errors and warnings. As campaigns run, opportunity score identifies which recommendations have the potential to improve performance. As an example, say creative may fatigue over time and become less effective, we'll surface a recommendation to add new creatives. That recommendation will then cause the score to update. To get into some reasons why your score may change and what that means, a higher score, again, suggests you're following best practices and are more likely to see improved performance, versus 100 means all current recommendations have been applied and there are no additional ones available at that time. A lower score suggests there are recommendations to adopt, but it does not mean campaigns are performing poorly. It just means there's room to optimize further. We don't recommend turning off a campaign with a low opportunity score. You're simply encouraged to review and apply recommendations. Ads will not be penalized for a lower score or dismissed recommendations either. There are four main reasons that a score may change. First, adopting or reverting from a recommendation, increasing or decreasing your budget, changing your campaign setup, like starting a new campaign or ending an existing one, and then updates that we make to recommendations over time. These recommendations are designed to help businesses grow at multiple stages of the customer journey, not just one part of it. So whether you're looking to reach new customers, drive consideration, or retain existing ones, Opportunity Score provides tailored recommendations for each stage. As we continue learning what works best for different business types, we'll keep adding new recommendations to help advertisers grow across even more stages. Now, one of the main important things here is behind the recommendations, there are three principles that are centered around your business needs. First is that they are proven. We only show recommendations that have been experimentally proven to help improve performance. Our team of experts, along with advanced machine learning algorithms, conduct rigorous testing on each recommendation before it surfaces. These have been tested on thousands of advertisers, and results show they can statistically significantly help improve performance in areas like conversions or cost per action. Second, they're also personalized. Recommendations are tailored to business type, campaign objective and setup, budget allocation, and performance improvement seen for that recommendation in our experiments. They're also prioritized. Points are assigned based on how much a recommendation is expected to improve campaign performance. If a client has a score of 60 and sees that fixing audience fragmentation improves it by 35 points versus Advantage Plus placements improving it by 5, they then know where to focus first. And here's an example of how personalization works in practice. Say one business is running a video campaign targeted to local customers and sees a recommendation of getting 8% lower cost per result by optimizing Reels. Implementing it increases their score by 5 points. Meanwhile, another business is running a video campaign targeted to a global audience and sees the same recommendation. But for them, it is worth 20 points for opportunity score. Same recommendation, yet different impact. Including a full screen vertical video with audio and Reels may be more valuable for business B than business A, so it gets a higher point increase. This is what we mean by personalized prioritization. The system does the work of figuring out where the biggest lift lives for each advertiser. I'm going to skip this one in the interest of time, so just edit it out. Now for the data backing this. Businesses are already seeing results with Opportunity Score. According to a global meta-analysis of large advertisers who adopted recommendations, they saw a median 8% decrease in cost per result. And here's a real example of what this looks like in practice for a specific client. GetNet, a payment solutions provider, followed Opportunity Score's recommendation to use Advantage Plus Creative for an Advantage Plus sales campaign with video ads featuring creators. The results, 34% more sales conversions, 73% lower cost per add to cart, 74% lower cost per initiate checkout, and 66% lower cost per complete registration, all from following recommendations that Opportunity Score surfaced. To bring it all together, Opportunity Score can help you get the most out of our ad systems by coupling your expertise with experimentally proven recommendations. Understand which setup works best for your business and what's timely for your campaigns, no more guessing, and easily prioritize and implement recommendations at scale, helping teams make data-driven decisions faster. The bottom line is that this is about closing a gap between a recommendation exists and a recommendation gets operationalized. Opportunity Score makes that path shorter and clearer. And I will pass it back to you, Megan.
Thank you, Sarah. Lots of exciting things when it comes to Opportunity Score for advertisers. But one thing we do constantly hear from our enterprise advertisers is that there's a challenge usually. It's not understanding the recommendations and all of those wonderful recommendations and lift scores you just shared. It's implementing the recommendation operationally across large campaign structures. So we're going to take a look now at how Innovid helps teams actually activate Opportunity Score within our social ads management platform and alongside their enterprise workflows. Christian West from our product team is going to walk us through and showcase how that comes to life within the platform here at Innovid. So over to you, Christian.
Thanks, Megan. So I'm going to walk you all through how we can really take the power of the recommendations coming from Opportunity Score and turn that into real action that drives real results for marketers. So we're here in Social Ads Manager, or SAM, and you'll notice that Opportunity Score is integrated directly into the platform. So there's no need to switch between systems in order to take advantage of the recommendations. As I open it, first, it'll take a look at all the ad accounts that I have loaded into the platform and have their associated opportunity score. So our UK account is doing great with an opportunity score of 100. I'm not going to have recommendations there. So we're going to focus our attention here on the social demo account. And when I click next, the recommendations will load and they'll be grouped into categories so I can easily sort through them. So this first one here for partnership ads is recommending that I include partnership ads for campaigns across this ad account because it can lead to a 19% potential lower cost per result. Now you see that it's view only, and that's because partnership ads are a little bit more involved than just changing an individual ad level or campaign level setting. But let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to that a little bit later. Now we go down to this music recommendation, for example, you'll see that I can select ads individually or select all of them to add music automatically to these ads. And then by clicking next, I'll have a summary and I can apply these recommendations directly from here, allowing teams to take advantage of these powerful recommendations to improve results directly from the platform without adding to that operational burden. But while recommendations like music can be a little bit more straightforward, let's go back to that partnership example, which are going to require a little bit more effort. Let's say we actually do have a partnership with a creator that we think would be a good fit for some of the campaigns we're running here. How can I go about adding those into the platform in a straightforward manner? That's where Hypermode comes into play. Hypermode is our in-platform bulk sheet experience that really combines the best of both worlds, that bulk sheet Excel-like experience, while still having the UI-backed validation, so teams can move with speed and accuracy at scale. So say I'm in this campaign that we were looking at earlier, and I want to add new ads to the ad groups that I already have created. I can copy and paste those down, and now I've got the shells of 18 new ads ready to go. You'll notice that this is where that duality comes into play, because I've already associated these new ads with their associated campaigns and ad groups just by copying and pasting down. And let's say I want to grab that partnership ad code for my trafficking sheet. I can copy and paste that into the right cells here as well. And now I've got 18 ads ready to go with just a couple of copy and paste. All I need to do is give this a name, turn them on, and I'll be ready to run these. And the great thing about this being in platform is I'll also be able to start my QA workflows right from here. So if I want to verify and ensure that I did in fact grab the right partnership ad code, I can double click and get a quick little preview and be like, yes, this is exactly what I need. And the other thing to note is that this is going to be a sandbox environment. So when you start to scale across more than just 18 ads, but tens and dozens up to hundreds of different ads, you want to be able to quickly and visually confirm that these are exactly what you want without the risk of them going live outside of process. So all of this is happening within the social ads manager before going live. So we can go through our standard campaign checks and ensure that everything is right, not only at the ad level, looking up at the ad set and the campaign level. So let's say we've gone ahead and deployed these creatives and pushed them live. We all know that's not where the work stops. Once campaigns are running, we want to ensure that we're still driving that performance, but also maintaining compliance with our campaign plans and structures. So let's jump into our pacing dashboard to see how we can make that process much simpler for enterprise marketers. I've come over here to our pacing dashboard, and I've got those campaigns that I had loaded up before into a pacing group. And what pacing dashboard allows me to do is automatically track how I'm performing against my budget that I've set and also my key KPIs that I want to monitor and keep track of. So no longer do I need to work out of a manual pacing sheet where I'm pulling data on a day-to-day basis, but instead I can come in here and now it's going to be updated for me automatically and give me the information that I need to help make decisions on my campaigns. So looking first at our spend insights, you'll see that we're 55% under our spend pacing, not quite where we want to be. When we go over to our KPI insights, these are going to be customizable by brand. So each brand can have KPIs that mean the most to their business. For us, we've got CPC and CPE both doing very well. But if I scroll down, I'll see that my CPM is more than 100% over the goal that we set. And now I've got to think about, I've got 8 campaigns, dozens of ad sets and ads. That again is going to be a lot of work for me to try to handle. But you don't have to handle all of that manually. With our automation suite, we can build in automatic rules that kind of live across multiple campaigns to take the actions that we would take on our behalf, again, without adding to that operational burden. So when I jump over to our automation suite, you'll see that we have rules here set to help address some common things that we might encounter while running our campaigns. So I have one here set for pausing campaigns when I see that CPM creeping up too high. Think back to we saw it was over 100% over our goal. Instead of me having to go through and think about what I want to do with each individual campaign in ad set, I can have these rules running for me in an evergreen state that in this case, if it's above $5.50, we want to pause those campaigns. Again, this is going to be customizable. So if you want to change budgets, change bids, make adjustments to that campaign structure, this can happen for you automatically and be alerted when Sam takes action on your behalf. Similarly, we noticed that we were pacing behind previously on our budgets. We can have rules to help increase those budgets if we find ourselves falling behind, again, either by set numbers or by percentage increases. So that way you can always have, hard and fast rules in place. So you don't have to sacrifice speed. We're going to take advantage of some of those opportunity score recommendations and feel confident that your campaign goals will always be hit. But we've talked about now automating our budget, automating our bids, tracking our pacing. But to close that campaign lifecycle, what about the actual ads? As we know, over time, audiences will start to tune out messaging if it starts to feel a little bit stale. That's where our creative fatigue dashboard comes into play. Using our proprietary algorithm to help score when an ad is starting to burn out, we can help advertisers to understand when they need to take action. And it's broken down into 3 key buckets. First, we have our green smiley face, low fatigue creatives. Those are really performing as we would expect and really hitting the brand level benchmarks that we have. No action needs to be taken there. As we get into the yellow area, this is where we want to start to monitor things. We're starting to see performance come down just a little bit. And this will be a thing, not for us to take action on immediately, but to keep in the back of our mind and know that coming up, we might want to start to refresh some of those creatives. But red and highly fatigued, that's where we're going to want to take action. Those are the ones where we're seeing performance really start to come down a lot. And those are the creatives that we want to take action on right away. And the great thing about this dashboard is it is built for action. I can look at it by campaign, by publisher, but most importantly, at that individual ad level, where I can get the name, its associated campaign, and most importantly, that ad ID. So now I can take these ones that are highly fatigued, take these ad IDs, and now I can go back into hyper mode, which we discussed before, and make the changes that I think are necessary. I can update text, update the images and videos associated with those ads, or I can turn them off and get ready to create new ads to go into those campaigns, really allowing you to take information into action. So taken as a whole, this is how enterprise marketers can really take advantage of those powerful recommendations coming from Meta's opportunity score without sacrificing speed or adding to the operational burden, staying true to campaign fundamentals, and creating our harmonious and powerful campaign lifecycle. Megan, I'll pass it back to you.
Awesome, Christian. Thank you so much. So we are going to pivot. And Raul, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? Title, clients you work on, and we will dive into a discussion and get his perspective on how advertisers are leveraging Opportunity Score as well as Innovid's platform.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Raul Tafur. I'm the VP of Paid Social and Strategy here at Canvas Worldwide. I focus in different verticals. We work on Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, Roblox, GT Kombucha, Dolby, MGM, and more. Yeah, been doing this for a while and been working with Innovid as well as with Meta for quite a long time.
So my son is going to think that my job is finally cool because I talked to somebody who works on Roblox today.
I know. I gained a lot of points with my nieces and nephews when I told them that, but then I also got a list of like, Uncle, can you get us all these things, which I guess I have to ask the client for some. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you leverage opportunity score for them.
Right.
Um, Yeah, just as cool. So let's talk a little bit about so everything we've seen today, right? This
hmm
opportunity score that gives advertisers 0 to 100 view with prioritized recommendations tied to potential account value. From your side, how are your teams currently thinking about opportunity score, and is it something that is actively influencing your optimization strategy today? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So opportunity score has become something really valuable for us, especially giving us directional signals, right? It helps us prioritize where opportunities can be and opportunities that may exist across campaigns, specifically when you add like more complexity to them, right? It is a very, very strong feature, but it needs to be integrated with the team's workflow, I think, right? Like, so that's where we still, I think it's a feature that potentially not many advertisers or buyers are using it, but it's not because it's complicated to use, it's there's other things around it that may demand some more time.
Gotcha. So even when the recommendation is clear, the operational path can be complex, right? Um,
Correct.
when you're supporting, the advertisers you mentioned, there's multiple campaigns, brands within
Yeah.
brands, approval layers. Where do you see opportunity score typically creating the most lift? Is it the approvals, creative readiness, bandwidth?
I think it's a combination of creative availability, approvals, and execution bandwidth, right? Especially as you mentioned with like larger clients, we have lots of governance layers, such as brand approvals, legal reviews, regional stakeholders, like
Mhm.
pacing, even when we need to move budgets from one side to the other one, right? So on top of that, if these optimizations are large enough, that means it's going to trigger a whole re-QA process that needs to be made. And well, in reality, not all optimizations may be done. As long as we keep working on some of those, I think you're already making progress.
Gotcha. And then what you saw Christian walk through today, and I don't know if you've been leveraging opportunity score and recommendations within the platform, but how do you see that helping some of the workflow struggles?
Yeah, absolutely. I think again, like some of the things that Christian show really talk to the assistance that we need when it comes down to volume, right?
Hmm.
So, usual simpler recommendations such as placement expansion or like budget adjustments and pretty much straightforward campaign level optimizations are the things that I think make the most impact. So some of the things that Christian was mentioning really maps down to how I get the team to operate.
Got it. So Sarah, we'll pull you in from a meta perspective. Where do you see advertisers getting the most value out of opportunity score? And especially those who may see some of the recommendations a bit of a struggle to operationalize consistently.
Yeah, I really think it serves as a nice reminder of all of these ways that you can potentially improve performance. It's easy to get very honed in on specific optimization strategies based on what a client needs or wants, and it can kind of open you up to things that maybe you should try that you haven't, or maybe you normally use but you've forgotten, or maybe as a campaign runs, it has different optimization strategies. So, really kind of bringing that all together and just serving as that constant, oh, here's something that maybe I should think about that I didn't because I was focused on something else or didn't have the time.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, we're all in this incredibly fast-moving environment right now, especially with social that was already an incredibly fast-moving ecosystem in general. So especially as the recommendations that you're talking about are becoming more dynamic and AI driven, I guess back to you, Raul, interested on creative targeting budget, just the volume of potential actions is also increasing. So from your
Yeah.
perspective, like how are your teams prioritizing which recommendations? Sarah's point, there's all of this guidance, like how are they choosing what's priorities on acting first when you're managing across your campaigns?
Yeah, so I think that first of all is seeing like the potential business impact of these recommendations, right? So the bigger the impact, the more that we'll try to hone on that. And going down from that is how quickly can we implement them? How
Mhm.
broadly can the impact be? And then what kind of level of effort is required from an operation standpoint, right? So it's a combination of things that work on when we are making our decision of first ones, which ones was to leverage.
Gotcha. So within that, right, like where you see the biggest tension between speed to action and the realities of optimization, like
Mhm.
what can happen when recommendations sit too long before teams can operationalize them, and maybe what are some of those recommendations that are a little bit more complex?
Well, what can happen is, these optimizations are they're time sensitive, right?
Hmm.
So the longer that you let them sit, then the more you have to evaluate if the squeeze is worth the juice, right? So you really don't want to sit too long on those. Usually we get more, it becomes more complex when you're talking about building new creative, when you're talking about like requesting new creative. But in order to do that, what we do is every time that we're completed a campaign, we do our own analysis and we test and learn and we understand what we gotta come down, what we gotta request from clients next time, right? Or the creative agency. So that way we are making these gaps smaller and smaller as we go. And it is because of this feature, right? And we're able to see this ahead of the game.
Gotcha. Sarah, where are you seeing clients, I guess, lean in the most? Like what particular specific recommendations maybe are the easiest and then the most challenging, but also possibly potentially the most impactful?
Yeah, I think it depends on a variety of factors. And Raul, I really love how it seems like you are thinking about this. Obviously, some of them are as easy as a toggle on. They're one-click implementations, but then some do have a much more complex setup process. So take Conversions API. Even though we do have easier methods to implement that, it still can potentially take time, alignment from stakeholders. If it's an agency working with a client, there may be multiple rounds of, feedback and approvals that are needed. But I think that's where going back to the prioritization and the points of us trying to show you what we think your estimated performance improvement could be. So thinking about those, I think kind of helps with prioritization. And sure, it's easy to do some of the one clicks, but it's always worth considering those longer term ones. So, in terms of which ones clients are acting on most, I think it really varies across different client profiles. Which ones are more leaned in to accepting all recommendations, which ones want to potentially test some. And we recommend that as well. If you see a recommendation, maybe it's something you're less familiar with. You tested it before and maybe didn't see exactly what you were looking for, like test it again. We absolutely always support and recommend testing. That's how we got to these recommendations in the first place, so we want advertisers to do that as well.
Thank you. Gotcha. So speaking of testing, creative. Let's talk about creative a little bit for a minute. I think creative is such an influential piece of everything. It's the core of a lot of campaigns and the driver of performance. seen up to 32% improvement in CPA and 9% increase in incremental reach for campaigns using a diverse set of creative. Raul, though, I mean, it's great to say diverse creative and scaling creative,
Yeah.
but it takes a lot to support that level
Yeah.
of creative diversity across your campaigns. So talk a little bit about how your teams are balancing that creative scale with ability in the day-to-day.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably like the biggest challenge that we face, right? Especially because the algorithms, they're always rewarding creative diversity, right? Like a frequent refresh cycles. But that brings a set of different complexities to the mix, right? So do we have enough creative variation? Are we maintaining brand consistency? Like, are we deploying these assets effectively, right? So it becomes a discussion at that point, right? Like you need to have and you need to work, like all these features and tools are great, but you need to have a good relationship with your clients, especially from an agency side, to understand that agility is pivotal, right? We need to be able to move fast. So processes needs to be put in place outside of the tool itself to understand what we need to work on and how fast can we react. Are we going to get everything that we ask? Most likely we aren't. But the point is that again, we're moving the needle one step at a time, and eventually, we're going to make a bigger impact down the road.
Gotcha. Yeah, or leveraging Innovid's platform and creative tools to help create, frameworks that help you scale, right? It
Mhm.
is a big thing. And I think Christian shared creative fatigue metrics internally in the platform that can help surface
Yeah,
as
and we
well.
use a lot. We use a lot of
Mhm.
that. We use a lot of that reporting that comes from that and like the signals
Great.
that Innovate is providing, especially for our reports on creative fatigue. It allows us to stay a little bit ahead of the curve
Mhm.
when it comes down to what can we do now, right? Like instead of being desperate on just like like already that creative fatigue is here, but we can check the trend and then learn from that.
Yeah, and have those ready to go, approved,
Exactly.
versions for
Exactly.
scalability, especially when it comes to even video as well.
Yeah.
Sarah, from Meta perspective, like how are you seeing advertisers think about the creative related opportunity score, like not just as production, but performance levers that can improve?
Yeah, and to build on what both of you said, we know that creative scale can absolutely be an operational challenge, and especially as Opportunity Score is identifying more creative opportunities. But there's definitely some balance here, like using Gen AI creative tools like Advantage Plus Creative to reduce production overhead. Again, going back to prioritization, prioritizing creative recommendations by point value. Not everyone necessarily requires a full production cycle. And then I think this goes to a bit of what Raul was saying, but building templates and modular creative frameworks that allow for faster iteration. And I think like teams that are doing well here are the ones treating creative as a scalable system rather than it always having to be a bespoke per campaign effort.
Hmm.
An opportunity score can really help by telling you where creative changes will have the most impact. So you're not just refreshing everything, you're refreshing strategically.
Awesome. I love that scalable system. Let's talk about an intelligent system for a minute, right? If we think about intelligence into action and where AI is coming in everywhere we look. I think, AI is helping teams actually act on those recommendations faster. And at Innovid, we are releasing our own Innovid AI called NIVO. And NIVO is really about bringing that intelligence directly into the workflow and helping teams move faster across campaign setup, QA, optimization, decisioning, applying recommendations, learning, while still keeping that right level of human control into the mix. I think if we just for a minute, because we can't have a conversation without AI. Raul, how are you guys at campus thinking about AI and leaning into the opportunities with partners, like Meta, and with Innovid?
Yeah, absolutely. Canvas is really invested on AI. We have an internal team named Art that focuses on AI development as well. And the way that we're seeing it on social is, the evolution is just not like smarter recommendations. It's reducing the operational burden between insights and executions, right? Long gone are the day from like an optimization assistance. It's just like operational automation, right? Like that's where we're headed toward. We need the technology that help us automate repetitive tasks to reduce the QA friction and really streamline the decision-making workflow and the buying process as well. Speed to action is going to be something very important for us, because at that moment it's going to be like I mentioned, right? Like if you're too slow, you're just going to lose the momentum. It's all about speed at this moment, right? We are looking also at AI agents to continue manage our campaigns execution and the workload. And honestly, like I said it before, and I'll say it again, it's just less about recommendations, more about operations.
Awesome. Yeah, so NIVO, powers many different task agents that are going to help do exactly that. And I'll pivot to Christian in a minute, and he's going to show us all a sneak peek. But Sarah, from a Meta side, you guys are obviously working through all of your AI MCP connectivity, our AI connectivity, really, and we're excited, to partner with you guys on that. I think it's all about interoperability and making sure that our agents play with your agents, play with, Canvas's agents and client agents. So that's really what we are representing with this release of NIVO and the orchestration that's going to need to happen across the board. And we'll see where that takes us. I don't know if you have anything to add on the AI space, Sarah, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think Raul hit it exactly on. The space is just accelerating so quickly, and we're super excited that Innovid is launching NIVO. I can't wait to see more, but I think this is a perfect evolution of what we can do together.
Awesome. Well, thank you two so much for joining. Enjoyed the discussion and appreciate you both being here today. I am going to pass it over to Christian to give us a peek into NIVO in the social ads management platform here at Innovid, and how that is going to continue to accelerate all of the exciting things that we talked about today, including opportunity score at Meta. So over to you, Christian.
Thanks, Megan. So jumping back into Social Ads Manager, you notice that we have NIVO integrated directly into the platform. And kind of building off what Raul was saying, really designed to help ease that operational burden. So to help teams be able to move faster. So we have some suggested starting points that NIVO can help with. So let's say that I'm getting ready to build out my Q3 always on campaigns, and I want to get some assistance on getting that task done. I can take my prompt here, and it'll be pretty straightforward. I want to create a new meta campaign with a couple of ad groups. I just have a name, when I have a budget, give the budgets to the ad groups, start dates and end dates, and go ahead and pause it for my review. The great thing about NIVO is while I can walk away, handle some other tasks while this is happening, it's designed to be incredibly transparent in how it's thinking and how it works through your particular task that you've given it, right? Where to say, okay, trying to parse out all the information you've given me from ad set budgets, campaign level budgets, how you want to handle start times and end times. So that way you can feel confident that the outputs that you're going to get once they're ready are to the specifications that you gave it. So as we see it here, it is walking itself through all of the thinking that it's doing to get to your specific campaigns that we asked it to create. So now we already have that Q3 always on campaign being created, and we got 2 ad groups created underneath it. And now it'll give me that summary of everything that it's done and give me the opportunity to then go ahead and QA it back into hyper mode, where it'll pull in those brand new ad groups that were created to the specifications that I gave it. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and add in the other details to the ad group, I could continue to have this conversation with NIVO to help me build out my targeting and all the other associated fields that come with the ad group as I get into the ads. But for today, I just wanted to prep myself to get ready ahead of Q3 campaign builds. But let's go back and say, okay, we've got some campaigns built. That's great. But how about we also want to create some new rules? Rules happen to be, a trickier place to make sure that you get everything exactly the way that you want it to do. So again, I'll take a quick prompt here, and I won't give it a ton of information. Say, create an automation rules that helps you to lower budgets for campaigns that have a CPM above $5.50 by 10%. Couple of other notifications should be sent to me. Don't add any campaigns to it yet, and it should be paused for me to review. Again, that transparent thinking process will start to take place. And what we'll notice as NIVO comes through here is it'll come with follow-up questions for me because it needs just a little bit more information to ensure that it creates the best possible rule and that my intentions are executed as I have them envisioned in my head. So as that thinking process goes through, it lets me know, hey, what's the date range for that CPM? Should it be today? Should it be for the last 7 days over the lifetime of the campaign? How often can the budget decrease? Should it be once per day? Can it decrease once per hour if we continue to see it? And a few other follow-up questions that helps me to craft this rule exactly as I want. So if I go through and answer these questions here, it'll take all that information and be like, hey, okay, now I'm ready to be able to fully create this rule. And as it works through that process, I will eventually have a new rule for me to be able to look through and validate and ensure that yes is the exact rule that I want. And I can either from that point have NIVO add the right campaigns to that automation rule, or I can go ahead and add them myself. So just a couple of things that NIVO can do today with capabilities continuing to expand to help marketers, again, shift that operational burden so they can do more in service of their clients. Megan, I'll kick it back to you.
Awesome. So exciting. Thank you so much. And a lot more to come when it comes to NIVO across everything that we're doing here at Innovid. So Meta's opportunity score is helping advertisers identify increasingly valuable optimization opportunities through AI-driven recommendations. Innovid helps enterprise teams operationalize those opportunities at scale, and NIVO turns insights into action through workflow automation, governance, and cross-platform operational control that Christian just walked us through. And together, we're helping brands and agencies move from recommendation to action. So thank you so much for joining us today.